After 18 days of combat, the thriving plains of Kurukshetra lay in ruins. The lush landscape had transformed into a wasteland of ash, shattered chariots, and the remains of an entire generation of warriors. The car of a loss was absolute. Duryodhana, Dushasana, Karna, and Shalya had all fallen in the dust. Queen Gandhari faced a devastating reality. Of the 100 sons she brought into the world, not one remained alive. Inside the palace of Hastinapur, the atmosphere was heavy and stagnant. While the Pandavas arrived in victory, no cheers greeted them. The only sounds in the grand halls were the cries of widows and orphans searching for shadows of the men they had lost. This victory offered no sense of triumph. In conflicts of this magnitude, the winning side often finds they have inherited a graveyard instead of a kingdom. Gandhari stood in her chambers, rigid and unmoving. Though her physical eyes were bound by her blindfold, her presence radiated the raw, agonizing pain of a mother who had lost everything. When Krishna approached, she turned her grief into a sharp blade. She called him Yogeshwar, the supreme divine. She demanded why a being with the power to halt the universe allowed her children to be slaughtered. If he truly wanted peace, why was the earth soaked in the blood of her sons? Krishna offered no immediate defense. He stood in a deep, unbothered silence, neither confirming her anger nor denying his own role in the cosmic drama. His response to this grieving mother would challenge the human instinct to blame the divine, exposing a difficult truth about our own responsibility for the tragedies we face. Krishna did not lie to her. He admitted that he absolutely possessed the power to stop the war, but he immediately turned the question back toward Gandhari. He asked why she, a mother with immense moral authority, failed to use her own influence to prevent the catastrophe. This timeline tracks moments where human intervention could have changed history, from Duryodhana's first lie to Draupadi's insult, and refusing the Pandavas' 5 small villages. In every moment, wise elders like Bhishma and Dronacharya knew an injustice was committed, yet they all remained silent. Krishna explained that the divine does not exist to override human free will. God will not step in to erase the consequences when humanity collectively refuses to stand against what they know is wrong. Gandhari's physical blindfold had always been seen as a symbol of sacrifice and devotion to her blind husband. Krishna, however, revealed its psychological cost. Over time, that physical cloth had covered her conscience. Her maternal attachment, or mamta, became a moral blindfold that allowed her to ignore her son's descent into evil. This mirrored Arjuna's crisis on the battlefield. Arjuna also wanted to abandon his duty because he was emotionally attached to the relatives he was forced to face. The core lesson of the Bhagavad Gita was not a call for blood, but a call to duty. Krishna taught Arjuna that ignoring injustice out of emotional attachment is a greater sin than fighting the unjust. Driven by her agony, Gandhari struck back with a curse. She declared that Krishna's own Yadu lineage would destroy itself in violence and that he would eventually die a solitary death. Krishna accepted the curse with a calm smile. He did not fear his end, nor did he try to argue against her pain. His acceptance proved that even the divine respects the law of karma. God acts as a companion who stands with us through the consequences of our actions, rather than a force that simply wipes them away. Krishna's words did not break Gandhari. They untied a knot of denial that had bound her for years. She was left with a clarity that was painful, but finally honest. The cycle of the Mahabharata repeats within modern homes and societies today. We see it whenever we witness a loved one doing wrong, but choose to stay silent. We often mistake this silence for loyalty, even when it allows an injustice to grow. Spiritual maturity requires the courage to remove the blindfold from our own conscience and stand for the truth, even when it is uncomfortable. Look at your own life and identify where you might be wearing a blindfold of attachment. What truth are you avoiding? If this divine dialogue touched your soul, you must not keep it to yourself, but share it with loved ones. Subscribe to Soul Spark Bhakti and hit the bell icon to stay connected to Dharma, truth, and the divine. Jai Shri Krishna.